Hey everyone, how's it going? I am iamxeracon and I am back once again. The Steam Deck is almost upon us. I am looking forward to it. If there's general approval from reviews, I'll go ahead and put down a deposit for one, though it'll likely arrive in the third quarter of the year, which is fine. But that's not the topic of the day. Recently, it was revealed that GPD, the company that makes the GPD Win handheld gaming PCs, made an official statement about the Steam Deck that was quite salty. The statement was made around the time that the deck was revealed, but it was translated recently by a Reddit user, though it was admitted that it might not be 100% accurate. The general idea should be correct though. I will leave a link to the tweet and Reddit page so you can take a look for yourselves. Without further ado, let's get into this. It started with GPD doing a comparison with the specs stated by Valve to the GPD Win 3 and GPD Win Max 2021. After making their comparisons, they stated that the deck is not as good as their handhelds. And to be fair, as I said before, this statement came out right around the reveal, so it would be impossible for anyone to appropriately know the performance, so I can't say that they're wrong for saying this. However, the last statement, the overall performance of Steam Deck is still not as good as Win 3 and Win Max 2021, comes off strongly as damage control and insecurity. Heck, the earlier statement, Steam Deck may disappoint Gabe/Valve's fans, also makes it seem like they're trying to make the deck look worse. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. What can the SteamOS do? Many people see that Steam Deck is integrated with SteamOS out of the box and say that they don't need to configure anything. SteamOS is a simple distribution of Debian 8, a Linux distribution. I'm going to have to stop right there. This statement is half true. SteamOS 1.0 and 2.0 are based on Debian 8. However, Steam 3.0, the version being used with the Steam Deck, is based on Arch. Saying it's using Debian 8 is false. I don't even know why they said this. They went and got all the available information regarding the hardware, but didn't bother to read that it was using a modified version of Arch. Oof, guys. Further down, the entire interface is working for game downloads, and that's it. You say it's also a PC, but sorry, you can't do anything other than play games. For example, if you want to install a LibreOffice for office work, you should be able to install it in theory. After all, it is based on Linux 4.2 kernel, but no one knows how it works without a desktop, and whether it can switch to other application interfaces. Valve clearly stated that at the end of the day, it's a PC. You can literally treat it the same way you would treat a desktop, assuming, and I don't believe this to be true, that SteamOS 3.0 only acted as an interface for games like Big Picture Mode. You could still go ahead and install another OS to have a desktop environment, whether it's Pop! OS, Ubuntu, Manjaro, Windows, Mac OS, Hannah Montana OS, etc. You don't have to stick with SteamOS. The deck is a PC. They then state weaknesses that supposedly everyone recognizes. They said that it's larger than the definition of a handheld and that the screen size difference between the deck and the Win Max 2021 is concerning. Maybe some people think the overall size of the deck is too big. However, I don't think the screen size is as big of a deal as GPD makes it. The Switch OLED, the largest version of the Nintendo Switch, has a screen size of 7 inches, the same size as the deck's. The base model has a screen size of 6.2 inches, and the Lite model has a screen size of 5.5 inches. These consoles sold in the tens of millions, and honestly, I think people were more concerned about the irregular aspect ratio of the deck screen than its size. They next addressed the battery, which to be fair is a concern for users, so I have no problem with that statement. Heck, Gamers Nexus did performance tests of the deck and showed that the battery life did not live up to Valve's claims. The next statement was Thunderbolt 4, a single application scenario, can only play games. I have no idea what this is supposed to mean, but still, I don't think people were expressing concern over Thunderbolt 4. Then they talk about driver support and whether the SSD can be replaced. Yeah, Valve was a bit vague by saying that they didn't recommend replacing the SSD, but you still could. GPD is making this seem worse than it is. The next section is the icing on the cake and GPD's descent into madness. Don't kid yourself. The only reason Gabe created this product is to make a closed system, not to install Windows to play pirated games. Steam Deck has support in its platform. There are 1 billion registered users. Gabe's purpose is to create a closed system, just like the Nintendo Switch. Their ultimate goal is to attract game companies to develop exclusive games for their handhelds. As long as there's enough user base, there definitely will be exclusive games. And with exclusive games, you can compete with the Switch. It also avoids the disadvantages of being a single download platform to compete with Epic and so on. Remember earlier how I said that GPD was damage controlling and insecure? This right here is the pinnacle of damage control and insecurity. They say you can't play pirated games on the Steam Deck. First, that's very bold of them to make piracy a selling point as to not buy a deck but buy a GPD win. Again, this is an official statement by GPD, and I'm not knocking people who pirate, but that statement is still false. Second, you can put pirated games from a desktop onto a micro SD and put them on the Switch. Linux versions of games exist, by the way. Heck, and while I do not endorse this company anymore for recently stated reasons, you can use the Steam version of RetroArch to play your pirated ROMs, so that's a moot point. Even still, the deck can run Windows, so anything that could be pirated on Windows will be able to be played on the deck. And Valve is not trying to compete with the Switch, and they don't need to. The next point is how they say that Windows is better because the Steam Deck is, according to them, a closed system. That statement is very ironic. Windows is objectively closed source. You cannot modify the way that the OS works. There are some ways to change things, but many require third-party software. On Linux, you can control every aspect of the OS. You can modify the kernel if you want. It's free reign. You don't have to make any complex configurations, but you have the ability to do so. And why would Gabe try to shun Windows users when they're the objective majority of the user base? That's stupid. Don't get me wrong though, I love the fact that Valve has been making a push for Linux, and I hope that the Steam Deck gets more people interested in it, so more software developers become more interested in working on making Linux versions. GPD goes on their mad rambling and then says that people do not understand the logic of capitalists. Think about it. Losing money to sell Windows 10 compatible hardware for players to play pirated games. What does he want? Just to make you laugh? No capitalist will lose money to make money. I'm guessing this section is sponsored by the CCP. I have no idea how they went from doing their own analysis of hardware to Gabe's evil capitalism doesn't make sense, don't be tricked. They finally close by predicting that Epic will make their own handheld and state that if you want to play pirated games, you still have to go back to Windows. I'm going to be honest, the GPD win definitely was appealing to me, at least the concept of it was appealing. A couple years ago, I saw one that my friend was playing and I was intrigued by it. When the Win 3 was announced for pre-order in 2021, I wanted to get one, but it wasn't financially feasible at the time. Looking back, I'm kinda glad that I missed out. GPD seriously has some issues, and until they get their act together, I wouldn't want to support them. But to say stuff that is objectively false, like the deck uses Debian, it can't run Windows, you need to play pirated games, and it's a closed system, is a completely different story. But this was worth a good laugh, and I hope you had one seeing this. Again, you can find everything in the description below. Let me know what you think though. How was this statement to you? Are you planning on getting a Steam Deck? Have you already pre-ordered one? Are you waiting for reviews? Let me know. So until next time everyone, I am iamxeracon signing off. Have a good one.